Hi guys, it's Dylan from Bijou Diamond Jewellery in London with our next video in our engagement ring buying guide series. And today we're starting our mini series within this series, which is the 4 C's. And today we're looking at the first of the C's, which is colour. And you've probably heard of the 4 C's now. If you've been looking into diamonds or engagement rings, it will definitely have come up by now. And the 4 C's basically stand for the 4 C's of diamonds, and which is the defining factors on how rare or how valuable that diamond is. The C's are made up of colour, cut, clarity, and carat. And so today we're going to have a look at colour. Okay, so you might wonder, what is diamond colour? Well, if I show you these 2 diamonds here, I'm just going to show you in our colour grading tray. On the right hand side, I have a D colour diamond, and on the left side, I have an I colour diamond. Now, initially, that obviously means absolutely nothing to you if you don't know about the colour grading scale, but I'll come into that in a minute. But what I just want you to observe, firstly, is how if you look at the D colour on the right-hand side, you can see that it's completely colourless. There is no colour to that diamond at all. It's very white. It pretty much blends into the paper, the white paper behind it. If we now compare that to the diamond on the left, the I colour diamond, that's kind of yellow. It's got a little bit of a tinge. You can see it, it separates itself from the white background. So you can immediately tell the difference between the two, because the I colour, the one on the left, has a little bit of a yellowish tinge or hue to it. So now, why are those 2 different diamonds different colours completely? And the reason is because the diamond forms over hundreds of millions of years. And over those hundreds of millions of years, the chemical makeup of the atmosphere and also the ground, the rock that these diamonds are formed in, changes. So over those hundreds of millions of years, there may be a few 100,000 years that has a very high carbon concentration in the atmosphere, or maybe a very high hydrogen concentration in the atmosphere. You know, you can name a different element and it maybe is higher during that time. And that is the reason why we see different colours here. So this diamond that we have on the left here, the I colour diamond, the slightly yellower one, when that was formed, the atmosphere had a slightly higher nitrogen concentration versus the D colour we see. And that nitrogen in the diamond creates that yellow colour. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the atmosphere at that time was very high nitrogen, but that definitely would be a contributing factor. But you have to also consider that it's a local environment as well. Just within that sort of pocket area of where that diamond was formed in the world, or in the rock of the earth, there may have been a different concentration or different makeup of elements present. And again, like I said, the D colour versus the I colour, when the D colour, this D colour stone here that we're looking at was formed, there was no nitrogen, or a very, very small amount of nitrogen, but pretty much nothing. Whereas this I colour, there was a little bit of nitrogen present, which is what gives it the yellow colour. Now, there are other elements that give diamonds different colours, and there's also different things that give a diamond different colours. So for example, a pink diamond, which is very expensive, that is pink due to the high temperatures when it's formed, and also the high pressure when it was formed. So that's not actually related to different elements, but there are different processes. Boron, for example, makes a diamond a little bit blue, and there's all sorts of other different elements as well that can change the colour of diamond. But this specific one that we're looking at is tinged with yellow, and that's due to nitrogen. Okay, so how on earth do we scale these diamonds on, grade them for colour? Because I could just say to you, well, this one on the right is white and this one on the left is yellow. But how do we know that this one is very yellow or quite yellow? Well, there was actually a grading chart invented, a colour grading chart, which allows us to place diamonds along this chart and be able to know really how rare it is and how pure that diamond is. Because this diamond here on the right hand side is incredibly pure. There's no impurities in that diamond, and if there is, it's an extremely tiny amount. So what we have is a grading scale of colours, and it grades from Z, which is the most coloured diamond, all the way to D, which is a colourless diamond like we see here. Now, you may have heard of coloured diamonds, and those are different. Those are fancy coloured diamonds, and those are yellow, pink, blue, red, many different colours, green. But those are different to being on this scale. This scale is purely for white diamonds. So if you're looking at Z colored diamonds, that's not a yellow diamond, that's a Z colored white diamond. Many companies will sell you that diamond, that Z colored white diamond, as a fancy colored diamond, which is incorrect. It shouldn't be sold like that. It should be sold as a very heavily tinged or impure white diamond. Fancy diamonds are the true coloured diamonds. Okay, so I'm just going to lay out another couple stones here. So now we have a lineup of 4 diamonds in our little grading tray. On the far left hand side we have our I colour diamond, and then just after that we have our G colour diamond, and then just after that we have our F colour diamond, and then just after that we have our D colour diamond on the far right hand side. If you look at them all 4 in a row, the difference is quite minimal. It's not as obvious now if you compare back to when we looked at just our D and our I colour diamonds. The difference was a little bit more obvious, but now we've lined them up in a row, it's much harder to tell the difference. In fact, if I move the D colour and the I colour, so the D colour is on the far right, I colour is on the far left, and we've just got our F and our G colour in the centre, you can tell the difference is actually even smaller. It's even harder to tell the difference between these 2 stones. And that's really to show you how tiny and minute the differences are along the scales. So each increment is very, very small change in colour. It's only really when you compare something like a D to an I that you really can see the difference. Okay, so why is colour important? Because maybe you actually quite like that yellow colour. But there's 2 main reasons that this is important, and these 2 main reasons will come up in lots of other areas of our buying guide series, and it also applies to many other things within the jewellery industry, and that is rarity and purity. So the D colour here on our right hand side, if we bring that back into the centre again, that is a very, very pure stone, and as we mentioned before, it has no traces of impurities in that stone. There's no gases. There may be a tiny, tiny, eeny-weeny amount, but it's pretty much negligible. We can pretty much ignore that. So this D colour diamond is incredibly pure. In fact, the crystal lattice structure on this diamond and the overall chemical makeup of this diamond is so pure that it is completely colourless. You can't really get much purer than this. The only step above this is a type 2A diamond, but that's another video altogether. Now, if we compare that to the I colour that we looked at before, that has impurities in it. As we discussed before, that's got nitrogen, so it's not as pure. To find something as pure as this D colour that we're looking here on the right hand side is very difficult. There's not many pieces of rough diamond or raw diamond in Mother Earth that is actually that pure. Lots of it is tinted with colours or gases or other elements. So that makes that diamond extremely rare, and therefore rare means more expensive. So that's why it's important, because for some people or certain people that are after the best of the best, then they want something that is the purest form of the diamond, and that is the most colourless, which is D. Now, that's not to say that the other diamonds we have in this tray are kind of subpar. In fact, I would separate personally out the I colour and just look at our G, F and D colour, sorry. Those are pretty much colourless stones. Really the F, if I separate those 2 out, and the D are true colourless stones. The D, E, F is the colourless region, and after that it's very, very faint tint. Okay, so something you've probably been thinking about this whole video is cost. Where does cost come into it? Well, same as we look at watches, if we look at something like a 5711, or even if we look at a Richard Mille that's limited edition of 1 of 5 or something, that watch is very rare. There's not many of them out there. Therefore, if that watch is incredibly rare, then there's not very many to go around, and therefore everyone wants it, and therefore the premium, aftermarket premium of that goes up massively, or the market value of that watch goes up massively, because everyone wants that piece. And it's the same for diamonds as well. The D colour is rare, and there's not many of them around. Therefore, it carries a big premium. In fact, so much so that if we look up the scale here, actually, if we pull the I colour back in again, we have our I colour, our G colour, F, and then our D colour. If you move from your I colour to your G colour, that's going to be around about a 20% premium, a 10 to 20% premium if we're looking at VS stones here like we are, from the I to the G. Now, if we went from the G to the F, that's around about a 10% premium or jump in price. And then if we went from the F to the D colour, again around a 20% premium, maybe a little bit more. But if we were to look at flawless diamonds, which is obviously extremely rare, which we're going to look at again in a couple of weeks, but if we assume that these stones are flawless, if we compare this F colour on the left hand side to the D colour on the right hand side, the D color on the right hand side would carry a 50% premium in some cases over that F color, because to then have a flawless stone and it be D color, that's incredibly rare. So cost definitely does increase the more colorless that stone is. Now you may have noticed that I have turned these diamonds on their sides, so that we're looking at kind of the side body of each diamond. Now if I turn each diamond over, in fact I will just turn over the D color and the F color. And you can tell that the difference between the two of them is actually very little. It's actually incredibly difficult to tell between these two stones. But back when we turned them over, there was a little bit of a difference, you could tell. Now if I turn over that F color again and introduce our I color, before we could definitely tell the difference between this D and the I. But now when we have these two together, the difference is barely noticeable. In fact, they look very, very, very similar. To the untrained eye, these would look identical and there'd be no way to tell the difference between the two of them. The reason for that is that when the diamond cutter cuts the diamond, they put in all those facets, those 58 facets on this brilliant cut diamond to enhance the light, enhance the diamond and shine back that light, reflect that light in the best way possible and make the stone look as bright as possible. And by making that diamond look bright, it makes the diamond look much whiter. But in certain light, this diamond will look yellow versus the D. Definitely if you put the two together, you can tell the difference. In fact, I will put both in a ring for you. This is just a little temporary mount, so you can compare them and see how they look. So if we place the D color in now, we can see it looks really nice and pure, very clean white, just exactly as you'd picture a diamond in your mind, very pure and bright and shiny. And then if we place in the eye color, again, not much of a difference, but you can just tell it has a little bit of a yellow tinge to it, especially when you get it in natural light, you should be able to see that tinge come through. If you set it in white gold like we have here, then it can make that yellow tinge look a little bit more obvious as well. Okay, so what do I recommend when it comes to color? Well, it really depends on your personal preferences and your budget as well. That's the beauty of our bespoke rings, is we can tailor make them to anyone's preferences and make sure they get the absolute dream ring for them. For us at Bijou Diamond Jewellery, we prefer to go for a lower color, so more like the F region for colors, and occasionally sometimes lower depending on the client's preferences, because we believe in going for higher quality and higher rarity of diamond rather than going for size. You know, there are plenty of clients out there that want to go for as big as possible, but the fact is that you'll get more attention and that diamond will have much more life and much more presence on your fiance's finger if you go for a higher quality diamond or a higher rarity diamond than if you went for something that is not quite as lively and not as quite special and sparkly. I would say definitely that with diamonds, bigger is not always better. And now if you want to maximize your budget, then I'd say GH color is really good. We never go below an H color at Bijou Diamond Jewellery, because that's where you start to see a tinge of color. If I now bring in our I color and our G color together, and you kind of just imagine between the two of them, or just similar color to those two, you can kind of see there is a little bit of a tinge of color there. And we don't really like to see too much color. If it's a white diamond, then it should be almost colorless. So for us, we wouldn't venture anywhere lower than an H. G is a really nice spot for maximizing your budget and being able to put the money in other areas like higher carat weight or higher clarity, but I wouldn't go any lower than that. My personal favorite is F color. I think you get a lot for your money at F color. It's very close to D in terms of colorlessness. In fact, like I said before, that DEF is technically the colorless region of diamonds. You obviously get more for your money, like I said, than the D color, because the D color carries such a high premium over the other diamonds. If you're looking for complete purity and complete perfection, then you obviously cannot get better than a D color. But either way, if you go for F downwards, you're always going to have a beautiful stone. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this guide to diamond color. There'll be many more videos coming soon exploring the different areas of diamonds. If you're interested in creating your dream engagement ring, then our contact details are down in the description. Give us a call or drop us an email. One of our main services here at Bijou Diamond Jewellery is creating bespoke, handcrafted engagement rings. and we craft them from start to finish here in London, which is a magical thing. Not many companies do that. Quality and perfection is incredibly important for us at Bijou Diamond Jewellery, and we ensure that every piece of jewellery that goes out to our clients is of the highest quality it can possibly be.